Hello, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. My name is Masakazu Nezuka, today's coordinate, and I would like to show you for the greenery work area, the Shiba in downtown Tokyo. So the video is going to start in a minute. Welcome to Greenery Tour. As I said, we are at the Shiba area in the middle of downtown Tokyo, and the footprint is the way we are going to walk today, starting from Toshogu Shrine and entering Zojoji Temple, and visiting several places, including the cemetery of the Tokugawa Shogunate. And the very last destination is another little shrine at the goal. Hello again, my name is Masakazu Nezuka. I'd like to introduce you to today's tour. And first of all, we are at the inner hall of the Toshogu Shrine. And talking about Toshogu, everybody reminds of the one in Nikko, which is a big one and a beautiful one and well-known the national world heritage. But here in Shiba, Tokyo, we have an important Toshogu like this. And size-wise, it is compact, but surrounded by a beautiful green, like this. And this Toshogu itself was intended to enshrine Ieyasu Tokugawa, the first shogun of Tokugawa shogunate, started at 1603 and lasted about 260 years. And he is a founder of this shogunate, and just before his last minute, he ordered his subordinate to make the Toshogu Shrine to enshrine himself, and this is one of them. And importantly, he ordered to make his own seated wooden statue, and this statue is stored in this main hall, the Toshogu Shrine. And this one is about built in the 1637, right after, 1617, right after the Ieyasu passed away. And this is one of the core, the Toshogu as well. So if you take a look at the green, and it's with some of the trees are with the 400 years of history, and a lot of green, and it is hard to believe that the greenage property is standing in the middle of downtown Tokyo. We will see either some of the modern structure like the skyscraper in a minute. And this is a chozuya. It is supposed to clean your hand and rinse your mouth to cleanse yourself before visiting the shrine. We are walking backwards right now towards the exit of the shrine for this case. But one thing I'd like to show you is that there is a big ginkgo tree on the left side. So right behind the wood wall, you started seeing that the tree on the left side. This is a 380 years old, the ginkgo tree. It is said that's planted by Iemitsu Tokugawa, the third shogun, the grandson of Ieyasu, when this building was rebuilt for commemorating the activities that he planted in 1641. So this is a green in the middle of the summer, so it's likely to be a hot day today. But they're beautiful green, and this temperature is rather cooler than the outside of this forest. And you can feel that's how much green surrounds this shrine. Okay. And this is a part of the Inko tree. Yes, this is one of the skyscrapers right just the outside of this shrine. We are approaching to Torii Gate. Torii Gate is a typical to shrine, and it is supposed to be it considered the border of the secular world and the holy ground. Once you go underneath that, go through the Torii Gate, the shrine property, this is launched to the holy ground. And when you go through the Torii Gate, one thing you got to remember is that go through either side of the pillar side, because the center is considered to be a path for the god. Okay. So turning the picture from cameras, and we are going to the entrance side, and we will introduce the one more important creature, or the typical shrine, which is Koma Inu. I'll explain later, but this is a nice blue sky today, even being a little hot. And cicada, the cheeps, you can hear it. The building behind the Torii Gate is the Prince Park Tower, and used to be the graveyard for the very famous the shogun as well. I'm going to explain later. Now come back to Koma Inu. There are the pair of the lion dog, which is imaginary animal, and this is a guardian dog. The dog is most popular, common. A guardian dog is most common, but some of the shrine has a fox. Like Inari shrine is a fox for the guardian animal. And in this uniqueness of the pair of the guardian dog is one dog is mouth open, the other is mouth closed, which means that's the a and un in the Sanskrit alphabet pronunciation. And a is the very first alphabet, which is beginning, and un is a very last alphabet at the end. So that which means that the describing the beginning to end of all things. So and also this turns to the meaning of the telepathic communication, un in Japanese. So without the speaking anything, the communicate or that tell there's something to the someone else. That's that we call it un. Okay. Now we are going out to the front street, which is Hibiya-dori Avenue, which is the main street of Tokyo as well. But in the Edo period, it was main street as well. This is a signboard of Toshogu Shrine, and it describes about the history and who found it, and also the what is the sword and something like this. In the back side, there is the stone monument. It is a Chinese kanji character of Toshogu, like this. Then we are going to walk, making for a north direction and approach into Shiba Park. Shiba Park is one of the oldest park in Tokyo. And this is used to be the Zojoji property, but now after Meiji era, they've changed to the Shiba Park. And you can see the Tokyo Tower. It is a very, very famous shooting spot from the visitors, inclusive of the foreign tourists. Unfortunately, the pandemic prohibits from visiting here from the foreign countries. Now it is very quiet. And this Tokyo Tower itself was built in 1858 for the cope with the raising demand of the TV and the radio. And this is at the time the world tallest radio tower. But now the tallest radio tower is Tokyo Skytree, located in the Sumida area near Sensoji, Asakusa, the north of the Tokyo, with a 634 meter, if I remember correctly. And this Tokyo Tower is a 333 meter. Now the rose garden is very popular. Unfortunately, rose is over, so the season is over, but this plant itself rose, and it tried to shoot the Tokyo Tower from the crack of the rose trees. It is a very famous, popular shooting spot as well. If you come in May timeframe, then the various colors of roses decorating this tree, and it is going to be a very scenic place. Now, besides the rose, and there are a lot of the flowers, even across the season, and this time the little flowers like this. Now, my apologies, I'm not the expert in the flora, the botanic area. So if you take a look, then please check it out your website. But anyway, this park is with a lot of the green and the flowers and trees, and it is a relaxing place for the Tokyo resident as well as visitors. And this Shiba Park was, as I said, at the part of the Zojoji temple, but at that's the used to be the bigger in property in the Zojoji, one of the biggest temple in Edo, and it is a family temple of Tokugawa shogunate. But the peak time frame that it has 830,000 square meters, or more than 200 acres of the space, which is huge temple. But after major restoration government, the target enemy was the Tokugawa family. That is why these temple belonged to Tokugawa family was totally destroyed, and abolishment of the Buddhism, which is the changing more the streaming for the emperor family. So unfortunately, the Zojoji became smaller. It's still pretty big though, but this changed it to the park. So still Tokyo is a lot of the construction moving, and the blue building backside of Tokyo Tower is another development on the Roppongi area. And this height probably is said to become the almost equivalent height as Tokyo Tower, to be finished in 3-4 years. So it is a signboard of the Shiba Park. And started seeing the part of the Zojoji property, seeing the runners. And this Shiba Park is a very popular place for the jogging. And one of the most popular place for the jogging is the Imperial Palace that used to be called the Edo Castle. Now these are flowers that at the check. Not in wintertime, they're very hard to see that, but some of the flowers always bloom and across the season. Now you can see the little red colored gate. This is a Daitoku-in Cemetery gate. I briefly explained that the Prince Hotel's building used to be the cemetery for the shogunate. It was the entrance gate of the second shogun of Tokugawa, Hidetada Tokugawa's cemetery, which was a huge cemetery, but it was totally burnt during World War II. But unfortunately, the gate remained, and there is a guardian statue is standing side by side, and it is also similar the meaning for the Komairu, the guardian dog. And you can see the family crest of Tokugawa family on the roof. It is 3 hollyhock leaves. And you can see steps that are the used to be the playground, and it is going to be approach road for the cemetery graveyard for the Hidetada. So we will walk in a minute. This is just recently repainted, and it used to be a very dark colored, but beautifully repainted recently. This is the entrance to the hotel. This is a mud wall. Typical the wall, the protection wall of the temple, and a slate in a wall structure. And now it is the part of the Zojoji temple. This one also the burnt during the World War II, and they just rebuilt in the concrete. And this Zojoji property, it is a south edge, and I would like to introduce one famous tree in a minute. This is also the well-maintained greens in this Zojoji temple. Some of the tent frame, probably some event took place recently. And now you can see the tall tree. We call it Kayanoki. Kayanoki is a Japanese turia tree. And this tree has a history of 600 plus year old. So which is even older than the ginkgo tree that we introduced about a few minutes ago. And this means that this was planted in the Kamakura period, a long, long time ago. So now let's take a walk towards Zojoji main area. We approached into the side entrance. That's why we gotta go out and re-enter from the main gate later. This is a ruin of the little stone wall like this. It is a typical to the castle or Japanese big temples, the structure, ground structure. And you can see a lot of green. And this Zojoji is well maintained by the gardener. Beautifully maintained and trained and planted the branches. And it starts seeing some big roof. It is the main hall we'll visit at the latter part. In a very famous shooting spot for the total contrast of the old structure and the modern building tower. This is a very famous shooting spot as well. Okay. We're gonna go out of the side gate again shortly. Since they are due to World War II, the most of the main important historical building were totaled, but however, one of the old building still standing like this. This is we call it Black Gate or Hojo Gate. This used to be the northern area of the Zojoji temple. The Hojo means the residential area for the abbot or student or priest. And Zojoji used to have 5,000 or 6,000 of the abbot priest learning, practicing at the Buddhism. And this was the main gate for the residential area. But it was relocated after the major restoration and in a place of this. But they must be facing a lot of fire accident, and that's why some of the pillars are burnt black, and also the gate door is deteriorated and removed. So this is a view from the other side of the sideway of the Hibiya Street. So we can see a little bit far from the far view from the sideway that we walked. This sidewalk is with a bit wider. kind of setback in the narrow and along the the walk park. This is a part of the Shiba Park as well. And this is some of the benches and the relaxing point for the business person. And I don't know why the cockerel they're just standing in top of the stone pillar, but it must be some meeting. And we got to making towards the main entrance road to Zojoji. But before arriving at Zojoji Temple, there is one important monument which relates to the Japan opening as well as the relationship establishment with the United States. There is I'd like to introduce in a minute, but let me explain first. The person's name is Commodore Perry, Matthew Perry. He was born in Newport, Rhode Island, and he became the very famous Commodore, and he is a leader of the four ship fleet, asking Japan opening in 1853. And at the time, the Japan was totally isolation from the world, and they tried to the European, American, foreign countries asking for trade opening up. And this is the benches, a very popular place for the business person round and eating lunch in the summertime or daytime. Back to the Perry's story. And the Perry, at the time, the U.S. was very popular about whale fishing. And their whale fishing boat approaching to the Japan coast, and they need some refueling and also the water. This is one of the reasons, but more importantly, the opening up Japan. And so he became the huge battleship called Susquehanna. And the Japanese government and Japanese people were so scared about its big size because it was 80-meter steam engine ship. And that's whereas at the time that Japan has maybe 5 times smaller that that ship, even the biggest that Tokugawa shogunate had. So this is a statue of the Perry. That this is commemorating 100 years of the Japan opening, and donated from the government of Rhode Island, Newport City. And then one thing that if you go to Newport, please visit, and then there's bigger statues that are standing in the Newport City Park. And besides that, there is a stone lantern provided, brought from Japan, not here, but at Ueno Kanyeji. It is a huge stone lantern. So I don't know why the story, how the stone lantern was brought to the United States, but it must be the relationship of Perry and the Tokugawa shogunate. And he is the biggest contributor to the Japan opening, and also the trigger act of the Meiji Restoration. So the modern Japan start. Okay, so now we are making for the main entrance street. See the taxi or car. This is a main the entrance street path to the Zojoji temple. And the black gate, as we see, I explained about, that's a Hojo gate. Then it is almost to the finish of the first half. Then we are going to start the latter half from this area. Okay. This is the latter part start point. Now, I would like to have some question about it. Do you have the slide, please? Okay, I have 2 questions for you. One is the number of the temples and shrines. I'm sorry, this is the second one. Okay, I'm sorry. The first one is a Toshogu. In Edo period, in the peak time frame, how many Toshogu shrines were there in Edo period across Japan? The question answer one is approximately 50, two, approximately 700, and three, approximately 1,000. Please mark your mark one and where you think it is correct. Okay. Oh, very accurate. Yes, answer is 700. Specifically, there used to be the 750 shrines, but now even that's the registered Toshogu shrine in Japan is 55. So it is hard to believe that there's so many shrines, so many Toshogus. And but four are major famous Toshogu. One is Nikko, and another is Ueno, and the third is here Shiba. The last one is Kuno-san, the first Toshogu ever built. Now we're going to question 2. Between shrines and temples, which one have many? Now, and one is, if you think that a shrine has more, now mark 1, temple has more, mark 2, and then the mark 3 is almost the same number. Oh, okay. Yes and no, though. Okay. The answer is that shrine. Shrine is with 81 shrines in Japan. The temple is 81,000. The temples is 77,000 registered. So there's a bit close number, but the shrine has more. That's the answer. And one of the reasons is that the shrine is smaller numbers, temple is smaller number is just because of the abolition of the Buddhism at the Meiji Restoration. In Edo period, I believe that clearly the shrine temple has more. So it's I hope it's a little bit of a help of the trivial questions. So now let's go to the second part. We are approaching Zojoji. It's a red gate is Sangedatsumo. So let's start the video. Oh, okay. This is the one I would like to explain. Okay, so this is the Edo Meisho Zue. It was the painted a drone in Edo period, late Edo period, and it is kind of the guidebook for the Edo people, and there is the same type of the paint available in Kyoto. Kyoto was started first. Now Edo is the follow the Kyoto, and this is one of the property describing about Zojoji Temple, and as I said, it was a huge property, and this is a diamond. You can see this. Diamond is the main entrance at the time, the Edo period. And now it is apart from the Zojoji precinct. But a diamond, name of diamond still remains at the subway station, train station, as well as the address of the town name. And above there, you can see the Hojo. That's how they explained the black gate. And there is a gate facing a main street. That was a Hojo gate. That was used to be the property of the Zojoji temple, but it was burned down and they replaced to that place that we visited. Second, please. This is the connecting paint. The right side, in the right side, the paint was connected, and it is a continuation of the paint. It is a center. And this is the salmon in the right side. This is a red painted gate that we are going to go through. And we are standing right now, they're right behind, right underneath of the salmon. Then the main hall is at that we saw that's the roof on the way here, but we are going through this and we're gonna visit in later. And the last one, please. Next one, please. Okay, thank you. This is a continuation of this second one. This is the last picture. And this one is last part, and this is where we started the Toshogu shrine. It said, I described that Ankoku-den, because it used to be the Zojoji property. And that place called Ankoku-den literally means that it is a peace country palace, a palace for the wishing peace country, named by Ieyasu Tokugawa. And it changed the name to Toshogu Shrine. Now you can see that the ginkgo tree right there. And at the time, the Edo period, there had a 5-story pagoda in the behind. Now, 5-story pagoda is a place, a building to store, the enshrine the ash of the Buddha. That was the purpose for the 5-story pagoda. And this is also the total, unfortunately, due to the World War II. I'm sorry, the earthquake in Kanto, and no longer available. But if you have a time to go to Kyoto, there are a few beautiful, huge 5-story pagoda, Toji. And also Nara, there is a world oldest 5-story pagoda, Horyoji. So just for your information. Okay, thank you for the picture. And this picture was still you can see, get in a book, still now, is available in the bookstore. Okay, let's go back to the tour. Okay, what we have just approached, that's the Zojoji temple. And this is presently the main entrance. And this is the Sangedatsumon. And Sangedatsumon stands for the cleansing from the worldly affliction of greed, anger, and ignorance. Once you go through this gate, so you can be cleansed. So they feel happy about this. But talking about Zojoji temple, it was founded in 1393, long time ago, but not this place. And after that, in 1590, Ieyasu Tokugawa came to Edo and opened up the Edo Bakufu or Tokugawa shogunate. This temple became the family temple of the Tokugawa family, and then moved to this location. And this location is southwest of Edo Castle, where Shogun's residential area, the most important area. And the southwest is the back side of the evil gate. And this Zojoji temple is to protect the evil from the southwest direction. On the other hand, the northeast is the evil gate, and this is protected by the other huge temple called Kanyeji in Ueno. And further up in the northeast direction, there is a Toshogu in Nikko. This is connected in one line. Okay, so this is explaining about the Sangedatsumon and the Zojoji temple, as I explained. And this is a Sangedatsumon, is kind of the grief, the anger, the cleansing. Now we are going through this. So we all are relieved and cleansed from the worldly afflictions. So you must feel happy about that. And this is a very old building. In the gate was one of probably the one few of the remaining the structure of the early Edo period. Luckily, it was not burnt during World War II. And the building itself was built in 1622. So this is the Jodo sect, the core, the temple. And Jodo sect was founded by the Honen in the Kamakura period, became the very popular sect of the Buddhism religion. And this is the main hall of the Zojoji. And recently, the roof tile was replaced with titanium. Used to be the slate. And also, you can see the Tokyo Tower in the backside. So this is kind of the Instagram, a very popular place for the Instagram shooting place. Now we are making. I'd like to introduce some of the viewing spots. So first of all, they're relating to the United States again. So that we are approaching at the pine tree. This is we call it Grant Pine Tree. Grant is President Grant, the 18th American president, and also the famous for the general for the Union of the Civil War. And after his retirement, he took the World Tour together with his wife, and they dropped in Japan in 1879 and came to Zojoji Place, and it is said that he planted this tree. And it became very, very huge. But actually, they called it pine tree, but specifically, this was a Himalayan cedar. And the Himalayan cedar, but specified into the pine tree category. That is why we called it Grand Pine. Okay. Now that we are going to drop into some of the more places, let me explain first. And okay, sorry, that you can see that they read the sun moon as well. And then this shooting how big this the pine tree. Okay. Side of the pine tree, there are some the famous monument. Behind the panel, you got more approach this. Yes, this is a memorial monument for the firefighter team called Me. Emi. Me is a Japanese alphabet. In Edo period, to protect the area, they had some of the firefighter teams, and the covering some various areas. In this Shiba area, the team Me is assigned, and this monument is the memorial service for the died on duty. But besides this, the famous one is the good story that they're the firefighter team, but a real fight took place in 1803 versus the sumo wrestlers. It was a true story, but it is going to be a long, long story. So if you have interested in that, please take a check at the website. There must be some. And the keyword is that the me, gumi, and the sumo wrestler, and kenka is a fight. So there's some the description should be available. And it became the famous Kabuki act. It is a funny and good story. Let's take another walk, and we are going to go to the bell. Just we heard, you probably be able to hear the sound of the bell later, but this bell is a time bell. In the Edo period, there was no clock. That was to announce about time. So every 2 hours, each bell was tolled, and this bell is one of the biggest bell in Kanto region, and it is with a 3.3 meter high and 15 metric tons, and still struck twice. And in the year end, they strikes 108 times to the cleansing out the anointment and having a fresh new year. That was a traditional act of the Japanese temples. And this is a famous weeping cherry tree. If you come March time frame, it is going to be beautiful, the full bloom of the pink cherry blossoms through these cascade branches. this is a huge tree and a cascade branch already touching to the ground. And hope if you have some time and if you have a chance to come to Japan, please visit this as well. So let's go to the main hall area. So today's a nice warm weather and a beautiful sky. And this main hall was also rebuilt in 1974. And you can see the announcement board of the treasure gallery. It is the gallery located in the basement of the main hall underneath that. And it is worthwhile watching. There's a lot of the exhibition. You can see that. But you have to pay probably 500 yen or $5. So we are going to the back side of the Zojoji to go to cemetery of the Tokugawa family, Tokugawa shogunate. In Tokugawa lasted about 260 years and started from 1603 and finished at 1868 and had 15 shoguns, generals, started from Ieyasu and finished at Yoshinobu. And 6 out of 15 shoguns' mausoleum is located here. The other 6 are located in the other famous temple, Kanyeji in Ueno. The remaining 3 are the Ieyasu in Nikko Toshogu, and Iemitsu, grandson of the Ieyasu, is the Rinnoji in Nikko as well. The last shogun of the Yoshinobu located in Yanaka Cemetery. So this is you can see how important it is for the Tokugawa family. And let me explain a little bit about this Bosatsu, this Bodhisattva. These 4 Bodhisattva statues used to be located at the Jizo mountain. Jizo means a Bodhisattva, but next to the Zojoji, now relocated and standing here. And Bosatsu is that the categorized at one of the Buddhist religion that they're practicing hard to get the enlightenment. And once enlightenment is achieved, accomplished, and it became the Nyorai, which is Buddha. So the Bosatsu's position is trying hard to become Nyorai, Buddha. So that's the information about the Buddhism, their positioning. Okay. It's very, very well maintained. The comb face is typical for the Bodhisattva's face in the structure. Then you can see the stone, the bronze wall. It was the entrance gate, and there are the stone lanterns right here. And this is typical for the cemetery, the path. Some are stone lantern, some are bronze lantern. And now it is the entrance gate for the Tokugawa cemetery. And you can see the family crest of the Tokugawa family of the 3 hollyhock leaves. And on both sides, there is a dragon, is a guardian, that create animal. One is ascending, and the other is the descending dragon. It's a precise, the engraving. And you can get in if you pay the other some money. Then there you can see you can visit the royal tombs of mausoleum of Tokugawa shoguns. So this is the explanation of the Tokugawa mausoleum. But right now, as I mentioned, you might remember that the huge cemetery was there in the Hidetada, second shogun, but deteriorated by the World War II. But the tomb replaced to this cemetery. So let's go down and drop in the place. This is a Sentai Kosodate Bosatsu, Jizo. Jizo means that the small child nurturing guardian deity of the child, and typically wearing red cap and red aprons. And this is 1,000, actually 1,300, but they are the people wishing for the healthy growth of the baby, as well as the memorial service for the miscarried children or babies. And then this is Emma writing the wish in a place like this. And once the wish comes true, then the people revisit and the appreciation to the temple. That's a traditional way of Japan. And this is a fortune teller. So that regardless the outcome, lucky or unlucky, that they tied like this and a place like this. So we are approaching to the last visit is Kumano Shrine. Kumano Shrine is very famous place in Japan and also not well known world heritage, located in Wakayama Prefecture, the west of Japan. However, the branch shrine is here as well. So Kumano is a Chinese kanji character said that the tiger ground, but Kumano is the name of the place. You can see that, you can hear that. It is a bell was tolled. Nice sound. It's solid, beautiful sound that will last very long. And this is a Kumano shrine. But in Japan, this particular shrine we call it Yuya Shrine. The pronunciation is different. Okay, they're entering. And we are now approaching to the holy ground, as I said. And the left side, there is a chosen. Before visiting the main hall, you gotta cleanse your hand and rinse your mouth. But the uniqueness of this shrine is guardian of this shrine is that you can see the big crow. Uniqueness is a tri-petal big crow. We called it Yata Garasu. It's the imaginary creature, and it is said that the first emperor Jimmu, a long time ago, almost 2,000 years ago, 500 years ago, when trying to visit Yamato to open up the capital, but he got lost in the Kumano area, and the crow happened suddenly appeared and guided to the Yamato area, Nara area. So that's why the crow is a sacred animal and also considered as the lucky. And this the Yatagarasu crow is the emblem for the J-League Japan soccer team, the symbol. Now that we are approaching to the Kumano Shrine, the main hall. It's rather small because of it's a branch shrine, but Kumano Shrine is very important to the Japanese tradition. So it is the very last part of it, and still we have a lot of greens. And luckily we heard the sound of the bell of Zojoji. Okay. Now the Tokyo Tower, and probably almost the end of today's session. Okay, I have some question through chat, and let me check. First question was the okay. The question is, what is the relationship between the shrine and the Nikko Toshogu? Okay, Nikko Toshogu itself is shrine, but enshrining Ieyasu Tokugawa. And unlike that, the temple, the shrine can, the shrine can enshrine anything. For example, sometimes the enshrining mountain, sometimes enshrining a mirror, or some of the shrine in the Asaka Ueno is enshrining like a rock hole. So it is what enshrining you are targeting. That's the depending on the shrine. That's why both are shrined, and this Toshogu is enshrining the Ieyasu Tokugawa. He wanted to become the god. So that's the answer to the question. And can I get a fortune? I think so, yes. Fortune teller, you can get that. And also the Goshu Incho, which is like a stamping or writing, they can do that. And the third, the Shiba Park divided into many sections. Yes, some Shiba Park is managed by Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And the other, some of them managed by the city of the Minato Ward. And also there's some park that are managed by the Prince Hotel. It's split it, and because of they used to be a one precinct of the Zojoji, but the abolishment of the Buddhism, they are totally did, taken apart of those park. All right, there is place that the water spring up at Shiba Park. Yes, there is a spring springing up. It is kind of the ceremony celebrating something, if I remember correctly, but I'm sorry, I don't have the answer. Let me check it out, and the specific answer that will be provided later. And a nice body electric visiting, walking around Tokyo, Hawaii result. Okay. So, okay, if you have any questions. Okay, the Zojoji temple you can visit anytime, even COVID pandemic, still open if I remember correctly. And but some of the maybe they're gonna gallery might be closed because of the condensed density is a kind of care issues. But they still, I believe that you can visit Zojoji anytime, any day. But it closed around 4 o'clock, I think, 4 or 5 o'clock. In the winter, it closed probably a bit earlier. Oh, why are Jizo wearing red cap? Well, that's a good question. I don't have the answer. Let me check. Okay, it's at the website. That's the Jizo wearing around the reason red cap. It is there the little baby can get lost very easily. That is why the recognize they can easy that, so they have a red cap and aprons. That's the one of the answers, but the maybe different answer gonna be written. I'm gonna check it out, and if have some the specific answer, I'm gonna get back to you later in a separate way. And when does the bell ring? Usually, the Zojoji rings bell in the 5 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening, except the year end, as I said. But this particular bell was rang at 8 a.m. in the morning. I don't know the reason. Maybe in the summertime and some special the occasion that they rang at a different time. But basically, the Zojoji bell rang twice, 5 and 5. Did I answer to your questions? Of all those, okay. But some the unanswered question that I will try to check it out, and I'm gonna feedback to the It's Wellness people, then you will probably be able to get the answer. So the last one is that's the okay. So we are going to the bonus. We have a 3-minute video. Do you have a 3-minute video, or you've already done it? Okay, no video might be just before the second part, and probably that one that you saw as a video of the Edo Meishotsu. So they're moving to the last part for the QR code, and then so last part we're gonna show the some of the introduction, some of the PowerPoint. Could you show this? Okay, thank you. So I would appreciate if you could access the QR code. There is the questionnaire for your answer for the hearing about your opinion. So they're waiting for your feedback. Okay. So that's the end of today's session, and thanks for joining us. And hope you have a good weekend, and hope to see you in Japan once the pandemic finished. Thank you. Bye-bye.